Ah, yes, D&D.
I did start the recording. Welcome to our Dungeons and Dragons session. The conversation is turned from Star Wars to Rugrats.
All right.
Are we rolling for recap?
Well, we got to introduce ourselves first.
Oh yes.
Who's gonna do it?
I'll go first.
There you go.
I mean, you guys probably already know me if you're watching this. My name's Rachel Banner. I play Celera, who is an elven sorcerer.
I'm Mitch. Howdy doody. I'm playing Cynian, the half-elf divine soul sorcerer who is the best salesman ever. Smile.
Hi, I'm Bella. I'm playing Brandy, the smoke elemental genie warlock and creation bard, who is currently bound by oath to Sir Hammerfell.
Not oath of her choice. Just
or his.
being a genie.
No one is liking this conversation. No one is liking this transaction.
This is not a consensual genie relationship. Anyway.
They just rubbed the lamp, and neither of them meant to.
Not even a lamp. All right, Sir Hammerfell.
My name is Zach or Kepish. It's my just Discord name, and I will be playing Sir Hammerfell, the classic valiant knight.
Awesome. And McClure here is our incredible DM.
Yeah, I made Aedalon along with other parts of this world called Exodor, and I'm running the game and all the other characters.
All right. Now we roll for recap.
So far, everyone's rolled for recap except Hammerfell and Celera.
And you.
And me.
All right. Yeah. It seems like Brandy is going to be recapping the session for us.
All right.
So, Brandy, if you would like to go ahead and recap for everyone what happened in last Thursday's session.
Yes, I'm just going to pull up my notes real quick.
Go ahead.
Oh, speaking of, pull out the notes.
So, excuse me. The party arrived at the Silken Crossroads, a small ramshackle trading post set up around the intersection of two trails on their way to Hendrix. They were able to restock and resupply in terms of food and feed and everything like that before making their way further north on their way to Hendrix. While on that path, after only a few hours, Brandy had heard a voice coming from inside the cart that she had not recognized, and when investigating, found a dwarf in armor calling themselves, I do not fucking remember the name. Did I write it down?
Dagon?
Dagon, yeah. Dagon.
Dagon, there you go.
None of us can remember.
I remember how it's spelled.
None of us remember how he got there. None of us remember how he left.
I remember I kept messing it up because it's spelled like Dagon, and it just made me think of
funny fish
Dagon
people,
But and after a tense confrontation where everyone else in the party remembered this person being with them for an extended period of time, other than Brandy, the truth was eventually revealed, and the party dealt rather swift vengeance on this seeming shapeshifter, and after that, the party kind of settled down for the evening before Brandy had a rather explosive, drunk breakdown in which she eventually woke up to be transformed into a smoke elemental rather than her previous fire elemental. Party got back on their way after Brandy cooked them breakfast, and we left off after encountering another group of 4 of these shapeshifters who adopted the forms of the party before one of them was struck down for attempting to copy Brandy after being Celera. So there were 2 Brandys, and the first Brandy killed the second one for copying.
So we pick up today. The smoke elemental that seemed to be impersonating you or the one that looks to be a smoke elemental rather, turns to you after having said, "Y'all are expendable. Don't forget that." And she turns to you with an open gesture and says, "As are all of you. Now, how about y'all get out of here while you still can?" The other one's nervously shifting, like grabbing what appear to be same weapons you guys wield. One of them reaching for the one imitating Hammerfell, holding the hammer quite in a different way, not exactly a perfect impersonation. And the one imitating Sinian has his hand wrapped around the necklace on his neck.
Well, I think we know where this is going.
What exactly are you doing that requires us not to be here?
As I said last time, as I said a little bit ago, that is none of your business, and job's a lot easier when mine's not quite as strong as yours are around.
If you're related to this dragon, he was an abomination who altered our memories for some nefarious purpose. If you are the same, then I'm afraid that we will have to put you down, unless if you wish to step aside. I'll hold my hammer out in front of myself in a readying position.
Yes, I think I know where this is going.
The one that looks like Sinian will step forward and said, "He was a scout. Not a very good one, apparently. But he got the job done. Identified strong minds. And we're here to take care of you."
If he was the scout, then you are the soldier, and you shall fall like him. And I'm gonna start charging in.
All right.
Fight.
As
you have the one.
you have the right. Go ahead and as you begin charging in, you see as the two of these creatures, whatever they are, that don't appear to be Brandy, vanish from sight.
Oh,
You shadow clone jutsu, or maybe they're
no.
invisible. I don't know. But are we fighting?
Go ahead and roll initiative.
so
Okay.
here we go. We should probably wait for the map. So
Maybe
Oh,
wait
yeah.
for the map so you can
Go
click
ahead
your
and
token.
I'm looking at the map right now, and I'm just like, oh, get ready.
Mhm.
Go ahead and place yourselves. If you would be placed differently,
There's
go ahead
dead
and-
brandy. And there's brandy.
There's a lot of
Brandy.
brandies here.
This is the most confusing time to ever fucking join. They're gonna be so like, what the fuck is happening?
Now they know why it was a sussy session.
I'm gonna try and write up a recap or something. Don't worry about it.
all right.
You have a Star Wars.
Which one is
textual-
which? There's two brandies.
The ones near the cart are you guys.
Oh shit!
There are two
I
brandies near the cart, though.
Oh my gosh!
Did you
What the
redo
fuck?
yourself?
There's
What have you
4
done?
brandies.
This one I'm
You
not
done?
able to interact with at all. This is the one I'm using.
So this one's you. Oh, I just moved the
Oh.
cart.
Go ahead.
Maybe
The
put
cart
like a
should be
dot
inside.
on. Okay, never mind. I was going to say maybe put a dot on the quote unquote fakers.
Faker, I found you.
Can we tell the
faker.
difference?
Who are you calling faker? Faker.
Go ahead and I forgot to bring up the initiative. I'm so sorry. But
You fool!
You fool!
Just roll again.
no, you can use the rolls you did if you just want to add your turns.
I rolled twice.
I like
I'm
to use
taking
the new one.
second
Smile.
There we go. I am so scared we're gonna accidentally hurt each other.
Nah, it's fine.
There's gonna be a sign in, and it's just like, "Hey, it's me! Don't hit me! Why didn't you cast bless? You're faker!" Shooting me in the kneecaps.
Found you.
You faker.
I'm gonna take
Who
the
are you
screen.
calling faker? Faker.
Let's see. Why are you
Is
such a
my
faker? You
doppelganger's posture as good as mine?
You can roll an insight check if you like.
Okay, I'm gonna do that.
All right.
Why don't you have funny circle? Why are you a square?
Didn't that doppelganger die a while ago? I changed my fucking token, and now I can't find out how to change it back.
I got a 23 on insight.
It's because the McClure should be able to fix it.
I was not sent this beforehand.
Yeah, no, this is something I just did.
I made it just now. That's why. Super great combat music, by the way.
I got a 23 on insight. Is her posture as good as mine?
No.
Mine, mine's gone. I forgot about that.
Super bad posture.
Mine got killed.
Thinking emoji. Yeah, the posture is awful.
Because she's dead. And also in 2 pieces.
Yes.
Did she disappear with the rest of them when they vanished?
No. So as combat begins, you all Hammerfell begins rushing ahead, and this is everyone else's, including the enemies as he begins rushing in. This is your time to get ready. You immediately equip anything you need for battle, and you begin. Salira, it is your turn. What are you doing?
So, let's see. Is there only one fake brandy ahead of us? Is there only these 2?
There is the one dead on the ground, which is slowly beginning to mist away. And then there is the one that is standing firmly in its place, not having turned invisible. Or disappearing, I should say.
Alright, well I am gonna I'm gonna just cast at the one I can see. And I am gonna cast Chaos Bolt. Why not?
Alright, go ahead.
Alright.
Go ahead and roll the hit.
Yeah, you know, we gotta fix your things at some point.
Yeah, that'll hit.
19 hits.
Absolutely.
19 plus stuff, but yeah.
2d8 plus 1d6. Love that.
It rolled earlier, so 3 and 8. So fire or thunder.
Nice. I'm gonna go with fire damage.
All
Or
right.
just roll it again. But you know.
You hurl this chaos mote, which slowly bursts into a bunch of flame before it impacts what appears to be smoke genasi, but as it impacts what you expect to not hurt as much, you see this sear go across the face of this creature as it turns to you. Oh, y'all shouldn't have engaged. Now we have to kill y'all. And anything else on your turn?
I think that's it. I'm gonna move a little bit closer so I can be casting spells and such.
Do a
All
little
right,
shimmy.
sounds good. After that, it is going to be real Brandy's turn.
Alright. Definitely in range. So Brandy's just gonna raise her hand up and just snap her finger. I'm gonna cast Create Bonfire.
Yeah.
It's a dex save?
Dex save 14.
All right. 9.
Let's see, 2d8 fire damage.
Amazing.
Oh, god damn you.
Oh my god.
No.
Yeah,
The
you
bonfire.
I don't have elemental adept, so yep, it's just double ones.
Snake eyes.
The fire erupts underneath her, but she just sort of stands on the flame and takes it as she looks out upon all of you and just starts chuckling to herself.
I like our brandy better.
Well, maybe the other brandy can roll better in combat.
fucking savage.
That brandy rolled a 9 on their save, you fuck.
Initiative, but yeah.
Anything else, Brandy?
No, that's going to be my turn, I think. Yeah.
All right. 1 second. I forgot to loop the music. Let me do so real quick so it doesn't drag on.
My immersion.
I'm so sorry. You see as the creature almost stretches out, like the form of Brandy becomes distorted as it runs over to in your general direction, Salira.
Ugh.
Come at me, bro.
And as it does so, the face distorts into an awful shape as the eyes of Brandy stretch outward, the nose going down and the face extending upward. I would like you to make a wisdom saving throw.
Hate that. I will though. Let's.
Unfortunate.
I got a 3.
That is a failure.
So am I frightened or?
Nope. As it does so, it distorts. You have this. It feels like fear, but it's almost more of a like just defense mechanism against the unknown and the uncanny valley. You take 13 points of psychic damage, and you are stunned for 1 minute.
Okay.
Fuck.
You may remake this saving throw at the end of your next turn.
How much damage again?
13 points of psychic damage.
Okay.
As the creature face extends, it begins to... It snaps back into the normal shape of Brandy before looking out upon you, upon everyone else, and just looking like it's planning its next attack. Sinian, you are up.
No, like Luigi, no like it at. We're gonna pull out the preserved spell from before from his lapel, smash it, and cast second level bless on everyone in the party.
All right.
Everyone blessed, except this one, not this Brandy. Wait, 1, 2.
Oh, there's a lot of these to choose
Yeah.
from for me being stunned.
So everyone but your funny horse.
No.
Sad.
And then that was my bonus action. As my action, I will say.
Which
it
of
was
these is
kind
the
of
stunned?
Oh, I used the wrong one. So he is going to then hold out his hand and do what he does best, which everyone will soon come to learn is I fire lasers. I cast guiding bolt at this faker.
All right.
Let's
What
see.
level is that going to be?
We're going first.
All right. Go ahead and roll the hit.
Yes. We're the best. Guiding bolt. I think it hits. I have a good feeling it hits.
Yes, that will hit as it extends out. Go ahead and roll the damage for guiding bolt.
13
Decent.
radiant damage, and the next deck it has an advantage.
All right, how does that look?
For the viewers at home, Sinian holds out his hand, and a beam of like an orb with trailing like a comment, I guess, shoots from his hand in a rose gold color and impacts the foe, leaving them like sparkling with looking like they're covered in like targets, I guess, of arcane rose gold color. Yes.
All right, it impacts. It sears across what appears to be some sort of alien-like skin underneath the guise of this creature, and it sears across the skin before it's quickly covered up by the guys again, looking at you saying, "You little shit."
Yes. And then
He just agrees.
whoop, 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 whoop. End of turn.
All right, Hammerfell.
Wait, no.
What are you up
wait,
to?
Wait.
Oh.
A second. I've considered my options, and I figure I need to do what I always do, and it's protect me, Cone.
All right. Hammerfell. Now it is your turn. Hammerfell, are you alive? I can't hear you if you are.
Muted?
He wasn't a second.
Unmuted?
Still cannot hear.
Uh-oh.
Seems as though there's microphone issues.
Oh,
Oh,
no.
wait, the light? The light?
Hello?
There you
He
are.
is.
Yeah,
There we go.
All right. I'm gonna spur Francis into the fight. Just, ha! And then walk 5-10, and then Francis. Oh no, not there.
Move myself out of
and
the
then,
dice rolling area.
Francis is gonna take the dodge action.
All right.
And I'm going to take my hammer and swing it right into False Brandy's stomach.
All right.
I
You have advantage.
for multiple reasons, but here we are. Yeet.
That'll hit.
25.
You're blessed, sir.
Ooh.
Oh, that is maximum damage.
Yes.
And with that, I'm going to lift her into the air and smash her down into the ground over here. I will use the crusher feat to move her 5 feet.
All right. Is she knocked prone with this
No.
as well?
No, she's just, that's flavor. She's moved 5 feet.
Anything natural 20 happen with Crusher?
I did roll a natural 20.
Oh, it's max damage. Sorry, my apologies.
Say, stay away from her as I push her away from Saliva. And then I'm going to rip my hammer out of her stomach and then just swing for her neck.
All right, roll to hit.
17.
I
have advantage because I have mounted combatant, and she is one size smaller than my horse.
That will hit.
All right. She's going to take max
Another
damage
12.
again.
Oh
Let's
my
go.
gosh. Amazing. You slam into her the first time, lift her up from her stomach as the hammer slams into it. You lift her, slam her down, and then go for her neck. You hear the cracking of bones, and it distorts before it cracks back into place. She stands up, like blood, this orangish looking blood coming out of both her mouth and the area where her neck cracked upon impact.
What are
Anything
you?
else?
I'm going to, after that sudden realization, I'm going to action surge and then
All right.
swing the hammer across her face.
All right.
18,
That'll hit.
6 damage.
Oh,
And then
if only you'd if you kept rolling max damage, this would be that would have been funny.
Yeah. Okay.
That'll hit as well.
No 7 damage. As
Nice.
I left hook across the face, right hook across the face.
She wipes the blood off her mouth. It'll be my turn soon, darling.
What?
And
What
she
fourth
is
wall?
marked with my unwavering mark. So she has disadvantage on melee attacks against creatures within 5 feet of me. So yeah,
All right, sounds
Thank
good.
With
goodness,
that,
because she
I
would
end my
have
turn.
advantage on attacks against me now.
it's
All
true.
right. Solyra, you're stunned. Go ahead
Yep.
and make the wisdom saving throw. Again, add a d4.
Oh, yeah, because I'm blessed. Love that.
Yeah, it's a good spell that
And
apparently is
19
not needed.
and plus a D4. 21?
That'll save.
Yes.
This strange defense mechanism of your body to defend against creatures that proc up the uncanny valley and similar effects. Just sort of, you shake it off and you look at the creature, no longer distorted and still in the shape of Brandy. You prepare yourself, but that unfortunately takes place at the end of your turn. Brandy, it is your turn.
Let's see. Have my movement to dismount, and then 5, 10, 15. And she's gonna pull her hand back, dark smoke coalescing around, and as she glares at the Brandy impersonator, "You heard the man. Get back!" And she's gonna cast Chill Touch.
All right. Go ahead and roll to hit.
Uh, 17.
Yep, that'll hit.
That's 2d8 plus 3. For those at home, I'm getting the plus 3 as a Genie Warlock, and the 3 is fire damage, the rest is necrotic. So that is 12 damage total as this black, smoky claw shoots out from my hand and gouges at the imposter's shoulder.
Impact. Anything else?
Then I'm going to bonus action give Selira a bardic inspiration. The flickering. Now it's a dim lit wisp of smoke and embers circling around Selira's head. So you'll get she can add a d6 to any ability check, attack, roll, or saving throw.
Nice. Thank you.
All right.
On top of plus.
Nice.
So it's if you roll really bad, you have 2 options to add to it.
Anything else,
Appreciate it.
Brandy?
Nope, that's movement, action, bonus action. So that is going to be it.
Good turn. As you finish that attack, she slowly laughs. Oh. This thing ain't just for looks, honey. And she holds out her hand, and this coalescing smoke and fire, this cone begins to spin out of her hand as she casts Burning Hands at 2nd level. I need...
Nice cone shape, huh?
Yeah, I believe that is going to be doing it straight in front of her. That's going to be Francis, Hammerfell, and Selira.
All right.
Yeah.
If I could get dex saves.
Yeah, you're just out of the cone.
Dex saves my favorite.
Oh, I got an 8.
Bliss! You forget your bliss!
Oh, I have bless
You have
and
bless.
bardic
Bless
inspiration.
will
Hang on.
actually help me out here. Nope.
The D6, right? I got
Yeah.
a 14.
14 and 13.
Francis has god tier dex saves.
And he has
14.
advantage because he's dodging.
Yeah, it's true.
14.
And he does
just
not
saves.
get blessed.
So the 14 saves, the other 2 fail.
Yep.
Does
13
something funny
fails.
happen when she uses the bardic right?
Yes, let me see.
On a saving throw, I think, give you 10 hit points?
Yes, Selira, you're getting temporary hit points equal
Nice.
to the roll plus my charisma mod. So you're getting 5 temporary hit points.
Thank you. Now I have
Nice.
8.
All right. Those who failed, which is everyone but Hammerfell.
Yeah.
I believe.
No,
Everyone but
Francis
Selira.
also failed.
Everyone but Selira. You will take
I literally touched sponge to it. It was just like
19 points of fire damage.
Ooh.
And he touched a sponge to it.
together.
Francis also takes half because mounted combatant.
All right, nice. As it begins to as this smoke and flame begins to jet out, you see her form begin to fail and give way before she falls to the ground for a second before standing back up, as it looks like she's having a hard time keeping herself in this fighting stance and keeping herself up in general. After that, it is going to be Sinian. You are up.
I wonder what I will do. I feel like I think I know of. I have one idea, and it's called we hit him but harder. I'm going to move here, and he is going to reach his hands towards the ground, and strings will start to form along the ground in a 30-foot cone in front of him, and binding ice in this direction.
All
Con
right.
save, por favor.
I will
We'll
do-
just do base level.
What spell is this again?
Binding ice.
It's the Fizban's spell.
Yep, I remember.
DC
that
16
is-
con save or
Fuck.
Fif-
That is exactly a 15.
let's fucking go. 15 cold damage, and they are stuck. They can't
Restrained?
move. No, they just their speed is 0. And they have to use an
Wait,
action to get out of it.
I thought they saved.
No, they're one.
No,
one below the
15.
page.
Oh.
My DC is 16. He rolled a
Oh,
15.
I thought it was 15.
Thanks to
Yeah.
the funny
Funny
file.
amulet.
Yeah.
So
Blood
the
Bible.
strings sort of latch around their ankles and hold them still. Not enough to impede their defenses, but enough to stop them from going anywhere.
The form is
And-
shifting even more. And as
and
it does
just-
so, you could see like strange tinges of this bluish gray skin underneath the vise that they've put up. Anything else, Sinian?
That's it.
All right. So Samson Hammerfell.
You
Seeing.
can move them and it won't fiddle. It won't fiddle with it.
Yeah. I thought that. I was like, she's like bound to the ground, but like they
Well,
can still be moved.
It'll move them.
That's weird.
Listen, it's flavor, but mechanics. She's just stuck. She's just a little stuck.
Looking down at Francis's mane, which is kind of burning slightly with after the burning hands, and at Salira, he's going to say, "How dare you hurt them!" And I'm going to use my special bonus action, which I never get to use, with my unwavering mark.
All right.
Because she actually dealt damage to somebody while she was marked. So I'm going to use my bonus action to make a single weapon attack against her. And if it hits, it deals extra damage and stuff.
I believe it would be advantage to a hit.
Yes, because I'm mounted. So 19.
I think that the Cavalier thing also makes it so that one attack's advantage as well. But yeah.
Oh, is it?
That'll hit.
You have advantage 5 ways to Sunday. You're good.
It's true. And this will do an extra 2 points of damage. So this will do 7 damage.
Impact. You see the form, like almost like the old stack of a TV slowly being almost impossible to keep up at this point. The creature is no longer talking smack, and it's looking for a way out.
Good luck.
When will these doppelgangers learn?
I'm not going to move her at all. I'm just going to leave her there. But I will, however, use my action to give her 2 brutal hammer swings. Here's the first one.
That'll hit.
All right, nice. Plus
Who needs bless?
this next one, which is a natural 20.
That will absolutely hit.
Oh, don't you get extra damage from your funny extra attack?
Yeah, the first one did 7 damage, not 5.
Okay.
So she's going to take 7 damage from the first one, and I don't know how it applies the critical. There we go.
Big money, no weenies. Aw.
Yeah, no, that's not great. But the Crusher Feat does mean that stuff happens. All attacks against that creature have advantage as I break through some of her defenses.
So you impact with the first hammer swing. It like almost shatters the ice beneath her feet before you hit her again. And the final attack, you swing it through. How do you want to do this?
Oh shit. The first hit kind of hits her and she falls back down onto the ground. And I'm going to slowly approach her, riding on Francis, and say, your reign has happened too long. It is your time to stop these guises and face your fate. And then I'm going to just smash the hammer down into her chest, breaking any rib cage that this thing has.
As you do so, she's laughing the entire time as you say that, and just before you say, she says, "It's not my," and then you slam it into her chest. You see the thorn disperse, and underneath you see a completely smooth, grayish blue creature with traces of red going throughout its skin. The eyes a pale brown color, and it smashes through the rib cage, caves in. And the creature goes silent, its arms fall to its side, and its head falls limp to the ground.
Where are the other two?
Hopefully.
I cast Detect Magic to see if I notice anything.
As you cast it, not picking up anything.
Were they illusions?
Whatever they were, they ain't here now.
Is
They might
this
have
one still here?
just.
That one's dead.
It is, but you see as the illusion of this one also fades away in a bunch of smoke, as you see a similar, almost exactly similar creature as to the one that stands before you over here.
Those other two seem to have made off. Perhaps in the confusion when they disappeared, they simply took the chance to run. But whatever they were, they ain't here now.
Is everyone
Actually-
all right?
I will say this is my mistake, but this creature seems a lot bigger, and along with its slender form, there are these crystalline structures extending out from their shoulders. Whereas this one over here is a little bit smaller and doesn't have those same crystalline structures.
Is everyone all right?
Yes.
I'm fine.
Brandy,
It was a
you okay?
I'm fine, hon. I'm more worried about those who took that blast of heat. These things are proven a bit simple to deal with once the combat starts, though they seem to have a few more tricks up their sleeve than originally believed.
Is this their territory, do you think?
Well, they seem to be moving in on Hendrix, so I don't know if territory is exactly the right word.
Do you think they're planning to invade?
From their skill set, they might already be partway through.
I think perhaps we should see how things are in Hendrix.
Oh, most certainly, but seem out of character. We're still like a day away, or are we only like a half a day away?
Probably about a day.
Okay. We still have a day of traveling to recuperate and make our way in. So we're not going in diminished, but we do seem to be going into a rather stickier situation than we intended.
Of course. Cynian will he just nonchalantly doesn't he doesn't seem too phased by it. Of course, he didn't get hit, so it's easy for him to pull off. But he will conjure some magic and put it in his jacket as I store spell a second level bless for it's a surprise tool that'll help us later. You know how often I use bless, and it's so great and stuff, and everyone uses it all the time.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Looks at the camera.
I'll do it for you.
Furrow your brow so you know I mean business.
Okay.
Anyways. Well, should we dispose of them, or?
They seem to be. Aren't they fading into dust?
No, the fading into the dust you saw earlier was the skies fading away. As of now, they seem the one on the ground. That it directly in front of you. You see the ribcage is impacted in the shape of Hammerfell's hammer, and then the one in the far distance has the slash that was made by the altered hand of this Brandy's, this now failed Brandy's make.
I think I can assist with that a little bit. And she snaps her fingers again and casts Create Bonfire on this one directly in front of us.
All right. Slowly begins to dissipate underneath the heat of the flame.
Never had to do that. That is a harrowing experience. Having to kill one with the face of a friend.
Get close enough, it's not the face of a friend at all.
Oh, yes, but it sure looked like it. Not now, but before.
Indeed, and I wonder what it would be like to fight someone wearing your own face, but
I'm sure you could tell us about that.
I didn't quite get up close enough to, I guess, feel the impact the way you did. Anyway, she's
I
gonna
think I
step.
prefer our brandy.
Yes, I'm sure the real thing wouldn't have gone down so easily.
Isn't that kind of you? And then she turns and snaps her fingers and starts a bonfire on the other one.
Do you think these fires might attract the attention of more of them?
If what I believe happened, then they're already aware of our presence if those other two simply retreated.
Do you think then it wouldn't do any good at all to try and move quietly?
We can try, but we're on, I believe, the only road into town from this direction, so...
On
Did
we go
you
then.
see them leave? They just simply vanished, yes? Were they real?
They
Did they turn invisible?
disappeared. I thought for a moment they'd just turn invisible.
They might have just turned invisible and then quickly retreated. Otherwise, they could have just been illusions, though they seem to have a bit more personality than duplicates.
I'll kind of walk over to where they were standing. Are there footprints?
Roll a survival check.
All right. I am halfway decent at those, I think. Yeah. Except for rolled a natural one.
But with a 6 total, I'll say there appear to be, like, from where they were standing, there are those footsteps, but there don't appear to be any more footprints going in any directions. These ones were facing you as that was the direction they were standing, but you don't see any more footprints.
Gotcha. But there were.
There were.
Okay. They seem to have some form.
They seem to have quite a bit more magical prowess than our first encounter.
Well, that one was only a scout, yes? I think they'd send their strongest just to look at things.
This is true, though we still don't know if what we just dealt with is their strongest or if there's more to come.
I would bet there's more to come.
Well,
At the very least, numbers.
This does comfort me, some at least. Is that, unless if they're playing with the long game, I presume that, you three are allies. You aren't some sort of falsehood.
Hope so.
Perhaps we should figure out a way to, if we get separated, ensure that we know who each other are.
I was thinking that. We all have, journals, books of the sort.
You do now, yes.
Yes.
Perhaps we could write entries every hour describing what happened and write the initials of everyone present. Should there be a new pair, then we'll know that someone has joined the party.
I think that's a good idea.
There's also the fact that while they have been able to slip into our midst, there's also the possibility that they seem to have some degree of
Memory-altering capabilities?
memory-altering mental capacity, but also degree of discerning another one's thoughts through their... I don't know if it's magic or if it's just a natural part of their being, but
When
they
they
seem
did
to be
it...
able to...
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
They seem to be able to probe our minds just a little bit, at least on a surface level.
When they did it to me, did it feel like magic?
Go ahead and make an Arcana check.
Mm-hmm. That one.
While you did feel the probing, like almost as though someone was rooting around in your mind, it's difficult whether to tell whether it was arcane magic, divine magic, psionics of some sort, but it's pretty easy to assume that it was magic of a kind.
I would say it's magic. Whether it's some kind of innate magic to them or a spell, I couldn't say, but it seems they, well, at least can see something.
This might make trying to establish which ones are real or not a bit trickier, because they might be able to simply probe for passphrases and such.
Perhaps we should all just stay together.
Yes,
That would be
that's
preferred, yes.
for the best, yes.
Mm-hmm.
I like look over to Brandy, at like her glowing eyes from detect magic. Can you sense anything with your arcane abilities?
At the moment, no. Nothing's picking up, which to me means there's nothing around, but I don't know, these things unnerve me to a degree I'm not comfortable with, and to what extent their abilities are magical or innate, and how much they're detected by my innate sense is concerningly low.
I
Yes,
don't like
just
these
know
at
that.
all.
Yes, me neither. Just know that anyone we meet could be one of these things in disguise.
I like even less that they may be running around with our faces.
Yes, they could
Doing
be
who knows
causing all
what.
sorts of trouble. Yes. Sorry.
Or merely appearing as a stranger asking for help is also a deceitful way to infiltrate our midst. For the moment, I believe we are to trust no one but the four of us here.
But if these things are about, then people could be needing help. We shouldn't ignore everyone.
I agree, but they could also use that very fact.
How are we to
Fortunately,
know if someone's being honest?
just try our best to tell if they're telling the truth or not. Though I don't exactly. Unless we are absolutely certain, I would hold everyone at arm's length.
Where else
Perhaps
might
there's-
these be?
I'm not sure. Hendrix is probably a good guess.
I suppose we'll find out.
From the way they spoke, they had rather big plans there, which means that town could theoretically be absolutely full of them.
You don't suppose they had something to do with the smoke? Is the smoke still there if I look up at it?
Oh shit, that's right. I forgot about that.
As you look in the direction, there are traces of the smoke that was apparent in the morning after what Sinian described as a possible meteor comet striking in around the same area. The smoke is mostly dissipated, however, traces of it still remain.
It's possible, but from everything I've heard, it doesn't seem Hendrix is that deep into the mountains. But who knows?
Could be why they're here. Whatever this event was, I'm not sure.
We ain't gonna find out much by just standing here, so I guess we try and make as much way as we can on these roads.
On the road again.
When I get back in the carriage, or on the carriage, I'm still sitting by Brandy. If Sunny is still smoking his cigar.
Nah, it's gone out by a while.
probably still gonna sit up front by Brandy.
True.
These guys are banished.
Be gone.
Banished.
I get rid of the turn order thing.
All right.
I don't know how to get rid of the turn order thing.
That's a DM thing, not a you thing.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's not
okay.
you.
There you go.
I was like, where has this been before?
All right. So you all are traveling in the direction of Hendrix.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, whoops.
On the road again.
All right.
Brandy, you are capable of healing magics, yes?
I am, though I believe so is Cynian.
Are you alright,
Oh.
Hammerfell?
Yes. Oh, yes, I'm quite fine. But Francis took quite the hit.
Oh.
It's, worried about him.
Francis. So
Yeah, I'd be
so
happy
like,
to
oh, if you're going to.
do a second level healing word.
I was gonna roll down the window and be like, Francis, you're not allowed to die yet.
Roll down the
Celestial.
window. Does this
Roll down
carriage
the
have
window.
roll downable windows?
Listen, I paid top dollar for this carriage. Of course it does.
It's more of flip downable windows, but yeah.
Yeah.
It's
It's either
eight
open or it's
healing.
closed.
8 healing for Francis.
Nice. Thank you. He is looking much better now. He is one away from max. Thank you.
Make it max.
I reach out and
Third
pet
level.
Francis.
Are you alright, Solera? You seemed hit by that flames pretty hard.
I'm alright, yes. I got out of the way, thankfully.
Oh, that is good to hear. I hope that I shielded you from some of it.
I appreciate it.
Why is it that every time something shoots fire at y'all, I'm out of reach?
They know. He does like spooky wiggly fingers.
I mean, it's probably not hard to see that you're skilled with fire.
That's one way to put it, I suppose.
Okay. I get 8 hit points back as I use second wind.
Second win.
And we start making our way up the road.
All right. As you all travel throughout the slowly more and more forested area that encapsulates the town of Hendrix, you all manage to make it throughout the rest of the day without any intense encounters with any other phenomenal beings of mind-altering origins. And it is probably around 8:30 p.m. before the sun finally sets beyond the horizon. Whether you like to continue or not is up to you. You figure you can make it to Hendrix. From the point you are at now, you could probably make it within 6 hours.
We'll travel for another 2.
All right. This
I've
needs to be in
just been like resting my head on Brandy's shoulder.
Cynian's full on reclined. This is my personal domain. No girls allowed.
Signing is just smoking cigars to keep everyone else out of the carriage.
He's found the secret. He's found the secret.
Lush carriages are Cynian's favorite terrain.
Yes. Minus
travel-
1 cigar? Another one?
You travel 2 more hours before you make it to, again, more forested. It begins slowly to inch more into the way of the path, almost not as bad as the path that travels throughout the forest mirror. However, the pale woods is slowly creeping up to the edges of the path as it's closer to Hendrix. At this point, the blues or the purples and pinks of sunset have faded for a long enough time to the blackish blue abyss of space dotted with multiple stars, and various probably nebulaic colors going throughout the sky as well.
Perhaps now is a good time to
Right.
stop. Milo and her Vincent seem pretty tired.
Right. I pull the cart over to the side, come to a slow stop.
It's
Alright.
fucking dark, isn't it? I'll probably have a torch going for the last hour or so.
I mean, it's dim light.
Sure.
Night isn't pitch darkness, and there's
Mhm.
stars and skies and moon and stuff.
I have
just-
dark
It is-
vision, I don't
it is-
care.
It is if you're a human.
I would think it's dim light at least. I could be wrong.
But it's pretty dark, so I'm gonna burn the torch.
Okay.
I'm gonna light the way because I can't see in the dark. I'm not a fancy elf.
You
like
can see in the dim light, you silly goose.
at disadvantage, my friend.
So,
Oh,
who's
come
gonna
on,
who are you looking for?
Everyone.
Why don't you look in, you know what? You're too busy looking around with a torch when you should be looking for some bitches.
Fuck.
Anyways,
We have two of them
Uh,
already.
It's Hammerfell.
true.
What?
No.
Hammerfell.
What?
So
Anyway.
Hammerfell.
Oh yes.
Would you mind keeping watch on Solara and Cynian? If I could have a
What?
private word with you for a moment.
Am I in
Keeping
trouble?
watch on me. Solera's like a
making sure-
little bit sleepy.
I'm making sure
Meditating?
we stay in at least pairs. But Cynian, I would like to have a word with you in private. We could perhaps take a few steps to the side.
Stay within
Yes.
sight.
Yes. Don't put it off too far.
Yeah,
We'll
don't.
get the camp
Yeah,
set up.
I don't. Dealing with doppelgangers and then being told, "Hey, I want to speak to you alone." Not the best kind of follow up, Brandy, but take your word for it. I'll just stay in. He doesn't go too far. He wants to stay within line of sight of the cart.
Yeah,
So-
I'm watching.
We're line of sight, but far away enough that you can't hear us.
Yeah, out of earshot, but seeable.
But within
So-
eye shot.
So if you see Signy and Fun collapse to the ground, fight for your fucking lives.
Only Cynian, though.
Only
I
Signy.
I cast dancing lights, so there's 4 flickering torch lights around us as I pull them to the side. So, Cynian, I know you and I have not always gotten along, but it's that for that exact reason I want to talk to you right now.
Go on.
These things we're dealing with, they seem to possess a certain degree of influence over others. And I am mightily afraid what they might be capable of. And I worry they might be able to turn one of us against the others.
You afraid?
Uh.
You afraid I'm the most dangerous of the group, and I'm
No.
wanting to know how best to do battle with me. Or it's the
No.
opposite. You think I'm the weakest. No, I'm just kidding.
If I am turned against the group, I want your word. You will do whatever it means to take me out of the fight. As I believe you are the only one who both has the will and is capable of doing so.
Simon like does like the long blink and then like shakes his head like, I hear that right? I suppose. If that's
Solara has the ability, but I do not believe she has the will. Whereas I believe Hammerfell has the will, though his ability, while tremendous strength, I do not know how that would fare directly opposed to me. So instead, I turn to you, who I know is both capable and through the lesser connection you and I share, would struggle less.
Mm-hmm. I've been
Last
told I
thing I
shoot a
want-
mean laser.
Last thing I want to do is hurt any of you. So, if Amethel and Solyra are not able to shake me to my senses and I pose a threat to you, I want your word that you'll do what it takes to keep them safe.
Just curious. Like out or like thumb across the neck, like out, or
Out
just
of the
whatever's whatever's. I'd rather not do the latter, but
Out
I'd really
of
not
the
know.
fight, I don't want you to kill me. I just want to make
Good.
sure
Just make
you are
sense.
able to prevent me from causing harm to the others.
Can do. You have my word as he has a funny title he wants to use, but I forgot. I want to remember it right. As the fuck, stop refreshing. As the best up and coming salesman of 139, you have my word. I will remove you from the fight should it come to blows.
Glad we have an understanding. And she makes the dancing lights disappear and starts walking back towards the campsite.
Sinian thinks about doing a very funny joke that totally would be very funny to do, but he doesn't do it. But comes back.
What's the funny joke?
I would have been like, and like, she trapped me. She's coming for you next. Run for your lives.
Oh, that one. Anyway,
No,
sorry.
he wouldn't fucking do that. This is me do it, but I don't think he'd do it.
Solara, you're alright? From my understanding, you haven't seen much combat. That you seem pretty shaken there during the fight.
They're quite interesting up close.
Yes, you could say that again.
They're quite interesting up close.
Perhaps we can tell which one is another one of those creatures just by touching them. Their skin seems to shift whenever it's struck.
That's true. And at least we'd know Brandy. She's always warm.
Yes, that is a good indicator.
I'm not certain about the rest of us. I always have cold hands.
That's good to know. Perhaps they can't replicate armor as well. And like he taps on his helmet and it echoes. Perhaps they can't get that genuine smoldersmith steel correctly.
Oh, I'm certain they can't.
So
It's not
if you-
genuine Smoldersmith steel.
of course not. It is just an imitation. Perhaps if you find me to be acting suspicious, just give my helmet a good knock.
How would I know the difference? I kind of gently tap on the helmet. What does regular steel sound like?
Oh, well, you see the smoldersmith steel, it rings less. It vibrates less in your hand if you strike something with it. A normal sword or hammer will cause vibrations that hurt the hand. Smoldersmith steel has less, so if you knock on it and there's lots of ringing, then, it may not be exactly true. Or if it shifts into grotesque flesh, then that's probably not me.
I will keep that in mind. Would that not hurt you if someone were to hit your helmet with some force?
Oh no, happens all the time. This is a frogmouth helm. It's rather sturdy, made for jousting. Generally, people don't wear it too often outside of that situation because hard to see out of. But I manage.
The jousting, I suppose the skill never leaves.
Yes, just something I grew accustomed to.
How often, I mean, I assume you don't do it regularly now. How often did you used to do it? It sounds exhausting.
Oh, there were multiple tournaments in a year, probably 4 or 5. But it was training a lot of the time outside of that.
Training.
Oh yes, just training against my brothers and compatriots. Just jousting training before the competitions. It's like this whole time we're having this conversation, he's like setting up the fire, like getting stuff ready.
Was it... I had some weapons training, but
Did
I'm
you
certain
now?
it was not the same.
Oh, we are both of more noble bloodlines. Perhaps there's some similarities. What did you go through?
Oh, just the regular, traditional elvish work. I was not terribly good at it. Bows, swords, daggers. At least they tried to make sure I wouldn't hurt myself with them if I suddenly had to use them. My brother was much more competent with weapons than I. Still, whenever we traveled, they'd at least give me a dagger to keep under my cloak, in case worst came to worst.
Oh, perhaps we shall have to do some training. I can show you a thing or two about some lighter weapons.
I'm afraid I'm rather hopeless.
Well, perhaps I can help with that.
Oh, if you weren't already a knight, I'm certain if you did, my father would knight you all over again.
Really? I don't believe I've heard too much about your father. What's he like?
He's... I don't know, he rules the kingdom and holds court. He knows what he wants and has every intention of getting it.
Ah,
I...
my apologies if I have arrived on a sore subject.
No. I didn't spend much time with him. Especially before my brother's death, but...
Oh, I'm so sorry.
It was a few decades ago.
Ah.
You know how monarchs are.
Yes.
They have
yes.
much more to do than to hear about poets, and they have better things to do. I wish I were better at the things that he does. I will probably have to do them someday.
Well, I'm sure that you will rise to the challenge when it comes.
I can only hope.
Oh, hello, Brandy. Is everything all right?
Oh no, everything is fine. I just wanted to have a small word with Sanian before he heads in for the night.
Oh yes, he seems to retire early.
Oh,
I can keep watch for a bit.
I had a thought about that. Probably best if we overlap shifts a little bit with pairs, just so not one person.
That might be best.
So that is a good point.
I can take first watch with you, Solara, then one of us trades off, and so on and so on.
We'll stay close to the carriage.
Congadero!
Is that...
What is he on about?
It's like
He
muffled from
calls
the
it
inside of the car.
He calls it the Congadero.
I'm not sure. That's very strange.
I don't know what that word means.
Is that a Sodan thing? Is
I
it
wish
a
I
turn
knew.
of phrase from there? I've not heard of
I
it.
had assumed you all knew what it meant.
Yes, I forgot that you are not as versed in the material plane and its terms, but no, I have no idea. I've never heard
Neither
of it.
do I. I'm sorry. Perhaps when we get to Hendrix we can find a dictionary. I really should have brought one.
Hammerfell, you go on and take rest, and I'll wake you up for your shift to continue watch with Salira, as she does not need as much sleep as the rest of us.
Ah, very well. And he'll take a few, eat a few pieces of hardtack and jerky, and then just kind of sit down next to the fire and then nod off.
Onion Knight style.
Yep.
I purposely dim the fire so it stays the same temperature and everything. It's just gives off a little less light.
All right.
Can you see in the dark?
I suppose just as well as any of you can, though better than good night here.
Good night, kitty, because he's asleep.
Haha, hee hee.
Sorry.
Ho ho ho.
So, like a human. A human can see in the dark, or
Better than that, though I can see just as well as you of fair heritage, I suppose.
that was what I'm asking. I didn't know at first that not everyone could see in the dark.
Suppose when it's an innate thing and everyone else around you can, you don't even consider those who are unlike you being capable of such.
And it's not exactly something people discuss.
Maybe not in that life, though, and probably it happens more in venturing parties such as this. Probably
This
comes
is my
up far
first time.
more.
What did you say? You cut out for a second.
Hmm?
What did you say? You cut out for a second.
It probably just happens more frequently, comes up more in adventuring parties.
Well, this is my first time.
As is mine.
You're telling me there are no adventurers in the elemental plane of fire?
Oh, there are plenty, though none that pulled me into their ranks. Adventure was never anything I exactly desired while spending my time there.
Honestly, I could say the same for myself. It's not as bad as I thought it would be.
I want your opinion on these creatures we are encountering.
What about them?
Give me your thoughts. I want to hear how they make you feel and how you want to best handle them.
How they make me feel? I should say frightened. I shouldn't. We can dispatch them with relative ease. One of them, when she was right in front of me, her face, your face, just stretched into this awful shape. Don't know why it did that. I much prefer your face the way it is.
believe that was a bit of its true form seeping through and when it was on the offensive, concentrating more on the attack than the disguise. I must say they greatly unnerve me as well. I'm not quite sure what they are capable of. They seem to have a great deal of tactics to manipulate and turn one another against.
And it worries me quite a lot that they could be wearing our faces, doing things in our name. To anyone.
So, I worry they might seek to turn us against each other, possibly through a more direct application of their powers, let's say.
Well, that's why we're staying together, yes?
The way they're able to creep into our minds and such nerves me. I'm worried they might be able to magically sway one of us against the other.
I don't know how much that one saw in my mind.
I am well beyond terrified of being turned against all of you. So I have something I must ask of you.
What?
If for any reason you think my mind is not my own, you think I'm being influenced, or outright take action against you, I have something I want you to say to me. It's in my native language. That I believe would be enough to release that grasp on my mind and bring me back to my senses.
How?
Doesn't need to be loud, doesn't need to be spoken in any special fashion, just loud enough so that I might be able to hear you.
How
And all I
does that
gotta
work?
do, it's a bit complicated, and I don't want to go into too much depth, but believe me when I say that I am placing a great deal of trust in you when I give you these words. Are you ready to hear what I have to say?
Yes.
Repeat after me. Inkavma Isai I Iliaktida Mo.
En kavma esai I iliaktida mo.
And I'm putting pronunciation guide in the Discord and Roll20. And when you say that, you see a flicker in her eyes. Her eyes go a little bit gold for a split second before going back to normal.
What does it mean?
What it means is not important, but that little test does indeed show that I believe it would work.
Is it a curse?
No,
Hurt you?
no, it's not a curse, and no, it will not hurt me. I just don't want to get into many specifics, but like I said, in telling you these words, I'm placing a great deal of trust in you, and only you, Solara.
I understand.
Good. Last thing I want to do is hurt any of you, so
I know.
With those words, I'm hoping that if my mind does not belong to me, you're able to bring me back.
If there were a problem like that, could Sir Hammerfell not simply command you out of it? Would that work?
It's possible, though I feel it might be a little more complicated than that. What I have given you is a not guaranteed, but a far more potent source of rebellion against such forces.
I would like to learn more words in your native tongue.
Maybe I can start teaching you. There's certainly plenty I can do. It's my native language, and I actually had to learn Common rather than the other way around that most people have.
Common is not my native language either. Sometimes I wish it were. It was rather complex. Still is. I always worry I'm not getting it right.
Indeed, though I cannot say I've heard much of the fair tongue.
Of Elvish.
Yes.
It's much more specific than common.
Well, it's a far older language from everything I'm able to gather.
Elvish? I should like to think so.
I'm fairly certain elves are older than man, at least.
DM, are elves older than humans?
In terms of like their age in this world,
Yeah.
they are slightly older. They were created around the same time. Furbolgs are the first race created. However, elves are at least slightly older than humans. Furbolgs are the first race created apart from any form of elementals such as genasi. As primordials, primordial forces of earth, air, fire, and water were the first to populate this world.
Well, I should say your language would be much older than Elvish. Elementals were around far longer than any of the races on the material plane.
Well, that is certainly true. It's not quite a fair comparison, as we are a multi-planar people rather than being largely confined to this newer one.
I think common changes much more quickly than Elvish.
Probably due in no small part to how quickly
The lifespan.
humans come and go. Yes.
I look over at Sir Hammerfell.
He's asleep. He's asleep.
Strange to think that he may well be approaching the midpoint of his life. After only 30, 40 years?
Mm.
I never know. It's so
That-
quick.
The concept of aging in itself is a phenomenon I am not acquainted with.
I mean, I suppose I am. I remember being much smaller than I am now. But For elves and for humans, it's maybe 20 years, 15 or 20, before you are about as tall as you're going to get. My brother was already physically mature when I was born.
I suppose while you still experience aging, it is closer to my experience than one of short-lived race such as the humans.
I think most races don't live as long as we do. Dwarves, maybe 400 years. Just perfectly respectable. I don't know how they don't spend all their time worrying.
It is a strange thought to think.
To have life go by so quickly. I spent decades just in school. And I don't know. I don't want to think it was wasted. I enjoyed that time, certainly.
It is certainly a strange thought to consider. Though, on a note, before you had mentioned wanting to learn some of my language.
Yes.
What would you like to know? I can start giving you a few lessons here and there when we have the time.
I usually start with greetings, basic conversation. In my experience when I was learning common.
That is probably a fair starting point, I suppose. Let me pull up my translator. To say hello in my language, it'd be got it.
Got it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just hello.
That's hello, yes.
Just one word for greeting.
Well, that's the informal hello.
The informal.
More formal way of greeting someone would be "Carestamos."
Carestamos. What is the formal and informal? Is it the same as... Well, common doesn't really have it anymore, but in Elvish or Dwarvish, is it just by familiarity? Is there a ranking system? If I were to meet someone older than me, which I assume most people would be.
Well, it certainly does not apply to age. It's more of a familiarity or respect is the best way to think of it. Some people hold little respect to formality and simply use the informal options, regardless of who they're speaking to, whereas some people use the more formal greetings regardless of familiarity, but typically you use the more informal ones to ones you are familiar with, formal for less familiar, or people who you are deferring respect to.
So, we are familiar, yes?
That is correct.
Just wanted to make certain. In Elvish, there are quite a few degrees of honorific. Always have to make certain you use the right one, or there will be problems.
Though, of course, there is other greetings revered for specific individuals and stuff like that. Though those are a case that I'm fairly certain you're never going to have to deal with.
Never.
I don't know. Do you think you'll ever have to introduce yourself to the Grand Sultan of the Plane of Fire? An individual
I hope I don't.
An individual I have not even met as a denizen of that plane?
Interplanar diplomacy might be a bit far off.
In case you're wondering, the greeting you give to the Sultan is Kare Omegalos Argigos tu Aeroplano Ma.
How many words
Translate.
is that?
It's about 7 or 8, depending on how you count things, but translates roughly to Hail, O great leader of our plane and people.
I'm familiar with similar customs. Do you have a certain way to present yourselves at court? I suppose if you haven't met him.
No, it is. There are certain formalities you go, but there are also certain things about your person you largely try to avoid saying in company.
Oh? I mean, certainly there are subjects that are rather impolite to discuss. I understand that.
How do I... It's something mortals are not really familiar with. You familiar with the concept of true names?
Somewhat.
True names?
Yes, I mean, DM, am I familiar with the concept?
I would say you're familiar with it in terms of things such as fiends.
Mm-hmm.
Beyond that, it's a little bit fuzzy.
It's
So that is something you avoid giving you far more power over you than even these bonds do. In fact, knowing my true name, however they acquired it, is how I was bound in the first place.
oh,
You need a genie's true name to bind them.
why?
You need that degree of control over their very being. And that, having that knowledge of them, sure does the trick.
Why would a name hold such power? Physically.
Because it is, in essence, speaking the word of creation that formed your being.
I see. I assume yours is not brandy. I won't ask what it is.
Grown to grow far more closely guarded of that secret than I had been previously. I see now I had been rather frivolous with giving out that information before, and I will not make that mistake again.
If I may ask, why did you give it out?
Arrogance. I was far too proud to think that anyone can harm me, even with such magic over me.
I see. Well, I'm still sorry that that happened to you. What would you be doing now, do you think? If you weren't here?
Well, for starters, I'd still certainly be being a fire rather than smoke. But other than that, probably still just my gambling and carousing and such. It's hard to say, as I feel I've already changed so much since then that I can't really imagine myself just going back to the way things were.
What's changed?
Well, it hasn't.
The hair.
I suppose that's one comfort.
You have lovely hair.
Thank you, darling. I know it can sometimes get the best of me and betray my emotions, but thank you. She leans back and stretches and there never was really a night sky back where I'm from.
Too much fire?
Yeah, there wasn't really a sky to speak of. There was really I suppose there was, but it was more a blanket cover of clouds of smoke and brimstone. So never really got to see anything like stars or anything like that.
I love the stars. Not much else to look at night. Or early in the morning before the sun has even touched the sky beyond the mountains. I suppose most people wouldn't technically consider it morning, but
You spoke of having a canopy over your bed back home that resembles the night sky, even if it's
yes,
not a one-to-one representation of any
it
constellations.
doesn't have the constellations. I think it's beautiful
It
anyway.
does sound mighty comforting.
Do you have something in your room at home that brings you comfort? I suppose that you sort of take your space with you. I make a the box gesture.
Yes, no, I don't suppose I rightly do have a comfort object like that.
I just wanted it to be beautiful. It was my first room that I really decorated. Sort of an important skill to have, arranging a room. When someday you'll be planning all sorts of events.
I suppose when you also have to worry about a coronation down the line at some point, being able to plan events is equally important.
Yes. Her smile fades and she stares into the fire. Her eyes are a little wider than they were. I haven't even... Well, I've thought of it, certainly, but... My coming-of-age ceremony is next. Do you
I'll go
have
on.
things like that? Coming of age or other ceremonies?
No, we don't rightly age, and like I said before, we're not really born, and
Yes.
once we gain our consciousness, there's no real pomp or circumstance surrounding it. They just go about giving you enough direction to gain a sense of self, and that's about all they do.
We have an entire name day ceremony. At least for noble children. When it's
Name day.
official.
What is a name day?
It's when you're sort of presented to the world, you're officially a person. Sometime after I was born, it looked like I would at least live long enough for it. So they invite all sorts of people, and I mean, I certainly don't remember it, but it's another ceremony. They put you in a, well, as rightly formal as you can dress an infant. Again, I don't remember. But it's, your name is official and you're a person, and for, well, a child of title, officially recognized.
Interesting. I can't quite say that there's anything quite like that. Many of the names we have are plays on our nature, I suppose. Even in our true names, they often are fundamentally tied to who we are. In a way, the true name kind of sets a path for us forward, as it is so fundamental to our creation. It's somewhat a driving force in our being.
We do that, sort of. It's more the path they hope you'll take. My brother and I were given many of the names of our ancestors, or deities, people that our parents hope that we would live up to, I suppose. Did someone give you a name?
No. All from up here, and taps her forehead.
You just knew it.
I knew my true name, yes. As for Brandy, well, that I came up with on my own a while later, after out of that initial understanding what it is to be conscious phase, where allowed to be out in the world a little bit more. You're shown the dangers of letting that be your only name you go by.
So you chose Brandy.
That I did.
It's a lovely name.
Oh, thank you kindly.
Very friendly.
It's a little bit of a joke. My favorite drink is whiskey, after all. As well, it has the little bit of a swerve, I suppose, in having the word brand in the middle, still
Oh,
given.
I hadn't even considered that.
Hey, that's part of the appeal of such a name.
Should always be a pun.
Yes, like my friend Jade and all that.
Jade, she's the earth elemental. Jade is found in the earth. Oh. Goodness, I wish my name were that entertaining. It took me years just to learn the whole thing. They give us many different ones. I have 5, aside from my first name and last name, and family name.
I have but the 2.
If it isn't broke, no need to fix it? Is that the phrase? I don't think that's right. It's common. Do we need to roll perception or anything for this watch? By the way?
At some point, yeah.
You fail because you're too busy looking into each other's eyes.
The longest watch
That's
of
not my
all
green
time.
Go ahead and I'll say either of you could roll perception or one of you could roll perception with advantage.
What's your modifier, Bella?
Who's the better looker?
Yeah. I got +3 to perception?
But Bella?
Oh no.
And then they died.
Oh, no.
Well.
Bella!
Out like a light. Snuffed
Oh, no!
out.
Oh no. They got her. Oh no, she's back.
She's back.
She came back.
Apparently, connecting to my Wi-Fi made me cut out.
Oh no.
Fun.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
You just roll with advantage because you have the better modifier.
Okay.
What do your elf eyes see?
Nothing. Nothing apparently.
What did I roll? I got a 5 and a 7.
If only you were the best. I don't know.
The conversation takes most of your attention, drawing your normally wandering eyes away from the skies and the forest surrounding you, and you're mostly fixated on this conversation. However, even with that low perception roll, the 2 hours goes by without incident, and in a short amount of time, it feels, as you naturally know, it is the end of Brandy's watch at this point.
Well, I'll go ahead and wake up Sir Hammerfell, and he can assist you with keeping watch for the rest, or at the very least, watch over you while you take your trance, so that you may as well. Right.
I'll wake him up. You can go to sleep.
Good night, Miss Solara.
Miss. I thought we were informal. Good night, Brandy.
Good night. And I go to wake up Sir Hammerfell.
I guess I don't have to.
Push him over.
Oh,
Wake up!
is something going on? Or is it just my time to watch?
Your son to watch, hon. I shall be retiring for the evening.
Very well. Have a good night, Brandy.
And when it's time, just go ahead and grab Sunny and
Oh, very well.
good night, y'all. And she just sets her box on a rock nearby and just turns into smoke and bamps into it.
That'll never not be startling. What's...
Get slurp.
How does she fit in there?
Magic, I think.
I would hope so.
I can't think of any other way. I hope your brief rest was indeed restful.
Oh yes, quite refreshing. Today was not so bad.
Well,
It was at least not on the body. The mind was another
Yes.
another story.
Did they reach into your mind as well?
No, but having to play one of my close companions, at least the form of her, was not the most comforting imagery.
Yes. Wasn't her, though.
Yes, of
I
course.
suppose
It
that
was,
doesn't help.
yes, it shall be fine. Are you going to do your trance?
No, it only takes about 4 hours. I suppose you and Sunny and I don't know if we thought this through, but it might not be a good idea to have one of us watching alone, so I'll be alright.
Yes, I'm not alone. Francis is here with me. And he'll
That's
look
true, but
over.
Francis can't very well tell us if you're taken and replaced by one of those things.
Well, perhaps not you, but he can tell me. I don't know.
But if you were gone,
Oh, that is a good point.
it's alright.
Well,
I'm quite used to staying awake. What is the longest you've ever stayed up, Sir Hammerfell?
I don't know. 30 hours or so. Just on some of the more rough and tumble adventures I've had.
Just because it was too dangerous to sleep or too busy?
Yes, we couldn't exactly find a safe place to bed down. It was a horrid swamp filled with nasty creatures.
Oh, that sounds awful.
Yes, it was very wet and soggy the whole time.
Oh,
There were insects everywhere and these giant reptiles lurking about in the swamp.
sounds like a nightmare.
Oh yes, it wasn't so bad.
It
We,
wasn't so bad. Sounds pretty bad.
It was pretty bad at the time, but it was worth the stories and the experience.
That is a wonderful way to look at it. That's how you have so many great stories.
Yes, you simply have to think about what it will be worth at the end.
Telling it in a
Not
tavern.
the hardships. Yes, and to close friends. Oh, speaking of stories, and he'll take out the book that San Franzano gave him, which he's already written a few of them in, and he starts detailing notes about today and starting the journal entries to make sure that none of us are strange replacements.
I do love your stories.
Oh, that's good to hear.
You
Glad
seem
that,
quite practiced at telling them.
I've had a bit of experience, but I'm no grand storyteller.
Have you ever thought about writing a book?
I have not. My penmanship is terrible, I'm afraid.
Well, then get someone else to copy it down for you. Or you could dictate it.
Yes, a scribe?
Yes.
Not quite sure. I've had too many interactions with them. A few, I guess.
Well, anyone who can read and write.
Yeah, that is true. But there are dedicated scribes.
I mean, honestly, if you have a servant who can read. Or a squire?
Not. Oh, yes. I haven't taken a squire in quite some time.
I don't have a squire, but sometimes my ladies in waiting would write things for me.
You had those two retainers when we met you, yes?
Oh, yes, they were guards, though. I didn't know them very well. They had just traveled on the ship with me. I hadn't spoken to them much. I spent most of the travel in my cabin studying common grammar. The history of Finnet. Truthfully, I think most of us thought that it would be a quick trip.
Gods of the family, I presume?
Hired guards, yes, I suppose.
Ah.
I suppose they're part of the military. They were hired, they were. I didn't talk much to the guards. Never quite shared the same interests.
Oh, some of them have interesting stories. Others have been posted in not too exhilarating areas.
I suppose fighting off the elements in Dalhava, the wastelands are, I hear, an interesting place. But as I said, I didn't spend much time at home before you know it all. I spent most of my time at school.
Mm-hmm.
Which was quite
He
different.
begins to. Oh,
Oh.
yes. It's, the school. What is it like?
Did you not go to school?
Oh,
Or was
I
it
did.
at home?
It was home training and things that all Hammerfells are required to go through, but it wasn't an official academy or anything like that. It was, family traditions.
Yes, I was raised in the family traditions until I was 20 or so, and then Lunith Academy. It's a boarding school for girls.
And they didn't hone your magical abilities. Those are your own.
Yes, they did. They did have classes in the arcane, but my parents thought it would be better if my innate abilities were retained the way they were. I did have lessons at home, but mostly it was up to us.
Ah.
It was interesting. My father and my brother's magic were quite different from mine, so I had a lot to learn. You and your siblings' training, was it structured, or did you teach each other?
Oh no, it was structured, overseen by my father and mother, as well as any older siblings. My brother, my eldest brother,
Henry?
yes, he taught the ways of the church, the ways of Yorn, but I didn't receive any military training from him. He was much more a man of faith. I have done quite a lot of training with my older siblings, though, trained them in the ways that I knew.
In combat?
Oh yes, combat and field training, survival, things like that.
Survival.
It can be quite important
Yes.
if you're caught outside.
Did you just all go off into the woods and try to stay alive?
Yes, that was part of it. We would also go out with a general objective to retrieve a certain amount of kills, of meat and hunting.
Hunting.
Other times it would be to see to survive out there a certain number of days.
Did you also hunt for sport? Hunting trips?
Yes, we did some hunting trips.
Dogs?
And we employ a few dogs among our ranks, but not too many. Large hunting parties for boars, though. They can be quite the nasty beasts.
Oh. Yes. They are terrifying, honestly.
They can be, especially the larger ones.
Whenever they brought those for feasts, I would look at them and wonder how on earth such small people could bring down such a beast. I suppose
Could
I
be,
understand it a little better now.
Yes, there can be thousands of pounds even. They are quite large.
Seems so difficult just to bring them back. I believe the smaller
Yes.
ones were usually the feast decoration.
Yes, retrieving them is the other half of the adventure. It's trying to haul them back after days of survival.
Sounds exhausting.
Oh, it quite is. Luckily, our steeds can be quite helpful in that.
No better bonding experience, I'm sure.
Oh yes, that's if you want to get to know somebody, stick with them in the woods for a few days with only your wit to keep you alive.
Well, look at us.
Yes, we're quite the tight-knit group after all this.
Do you believe that we could be turned against each other by creatures such as these that we fought today?
By mundane means, I doubt it, but magic is capable of anything from what I understand.
Not anything. Well, I suppose if the magic's powerful enough. But any being capable of performing magic that powerful probably wouldn't be bothering with us.
That is true. We are a bit small when compared to some of the living legends elsewhere.
Brandy is concerned that she might hurt us if something were to happen.
To be honest, I am quite afraid of the same thing. I'm not sure what would happen to any of you should they get a hold of my mind.
A terrifying prospect to lose control of one's mind.
Yes. We all can be quite dangerous, and I dread to see what would happen if that was turned against one another. Well, I'm doing my best to keep my mind sane and my own. He's
You
like
seem
writing
quite
down.
sane to me.
Oh, well, perhaps now, but who knows with these creatures' influences, they could turn us at any moment, perhaps. I'm not sure what they're capable of. He's like writing down in the book just notes about everyone, and I will attempt a sketch of everyone, and it's not gonna be good because would that be performance?
You're like stick figures.
It'd be sleight of hand.
Sleight of hand? Oh, that's worse.
It's like one of those like
Or-
pictures that kids draw with like the stick figure family.
Or it's like, dexterity with painter's proficiency, Smile.
This is
Go steal
He-
Sinean's painting supplies.
no.
Do it.
Oh.
What did you get?
Oh.
0.
Oh. This is what I was hoping for.
Stick figures.
Stick figures. Stick
Yeah, it's-
figures.
It's
So you're
like-
drawing the stick figures.
No, he's not drawing like full portraits. It's like trying to be like just the face.
Can I
Mhm.
see what he's drawing? Like, do I see it from where I'm sitting?
How open are you drawing this, Hammerfell?
We're just sitting by the fire, so if you're like looking over my shoulder at what I'm doing, then probably.
Solera is
yeah.
very nosy. She will absolutely be trying to
0.
surreptitiously see what you're doing.
What are you writing this with?
I don't know. Do I have a quill?
If you like.
Or I don't know. Probably charcoal.
All right. As you're doing so, you're going back and forth. You're trying really hard on this. And then you realize, after a little bit of drawing this portrait, which isn't great, you've gotten charcoal all over your various pieces of armor.
Blast. I was never good at these things.
What?
Oh, I am no such artist.
What?
But,
What did you draw?
Nothing. And he, like, closes the book. I'm closing the book for the charcoal, like, fucking sets in. It's, like, just smudges it even more. It's bad. That whole page is gone
Oh my God, this
forever.
Can I see the charcoal all over his armor?
Yeah, and
Probably, yeah.
I can clean that off for you if you like.
oh, you can? That would be wonderful.
I press the digitation off all the charcoal off his armor.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. The chains can be quite hard to get in there.
Oh, I'm certain.
It seems like quite the useful ability.
It is one of the first spells I learned.
It is I can see why.
It's quite useful. This and the hand and little illusions. Things you do as a child.
Interesting.
It's quite useful when you when you really don't want to get up from your chair. But you have done some magic, yes? I glance at Francis.
Oh, that is what I believe is a gift from Bjorn. It is not magic of my own. And he'll like pull out the staff of the steed. I have done very few though. That is something I used to be capable of.
Magic?
Just a bit.
Were your abilities learned, or if I may ask, you don't have to answer if it's personal.
Oh, they were a gift from Bjorn. It was something that I used to be able to do, but has since waned.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Quite all right.
I've never quite understood divine magic.
To be honest, I haven't either. It's something that must be gained through sort of blind faith. You have to believe in it to gain it.
I suppose
I'm
that's
not
the
sure.
problem. I've never been much for blind faith. My family worships Bahamut, I suppose, but
Bahamut?
yes.
Do I know anything about that with any
Make a religion check.
am I proficient in those? I am not. Fuck. One of the proficiencies I didn't pick up. Oh shit.
Pretty decent.
That is. Especially with my -1.
Despite the lack of worship for Bahamut in Aedalon specifically, you have heard of the Platinum Dragon. He is somewhat famous for being a bringer of light to many places in Exildor, but also as a former ally turned enemy of Tiamat, which is a well-renowned fiend.
Bahamut, the Platinum Dragon, yes?
Yes.
Oh, I
Wisdom, justice. It's
all good things.
especially if you're in government.
Yes, don't want to forget those core values.
Important ideals to remember.
Yes. I'm afraid that the Hamfer family has a sort of an unfortunate past with dragons.
Oh?
Well, it was sort of the starting of our family was long ago. The Hammerfells banded together with a dwarven clan and a tribe of giants, fire giants, and they slew 3 great dragons. And that was sort of the basis of the family. And then ever since then, we have upheld virtues that oppose these evil draconic figures.
Even justice and wisdom.
Oh yes, of course. Those are 2 very important things for us.
But is that not a draconic value? I suppose if Bahamut is the god of such things.
I believe that he is that of metallic dragons, which is
Yes,
the good light dragons, but
that is true.
chromatic dragons were sort of vile and selfish creatures.
That is
I
also true.
that is
Sorry.
what I've been taught. I'm not sure how true it is. I haven't had many run-ins with dragons. You know, kind of like look off into the fire.
I never paid much attention in church. Perhaps I should have. We mostly only went for religious ceremonies. All the ceremonies. Do you
Yes.
have a naming day? Do the Hammerfells do that?
The naming day?
Yes.
I'm afraid I haven't heard of such a thing.
It's when a baby is born. Do you have something you do?
No, there's celebrations before and after, but not one specifically pertaining to the name. I'm named after one of my great ancestors.
I'm named after several of mine.
Seems that is a tradition carried by both humans and elves.
That is what.
Oh.
Yes.
As you all are having this conversation, one of you go ahead and roll a, or either both of you roll a perception check, or one of you roll a perception check with advantage.
I got +3. What's yours?
+5.
You roll with advantage.
I showed you mine. What's yours?
Thanks,
Oh,
Mitch.
by the way,
Yes.
thanks
Look,
for
thank you. I haven't talked in like 5 minutes, so of course I have to say something. Just the worst. I'll go back to my corner now.
You're sleeping.
I read Find the Steed again,
you.
and the steed does need to eat, sleep, and drink. So Francis is asleep earlier now. He will help Mitch out during his watch. So here's my perception roll, which is God tier. I'm sure that's pretty good.
That's really good.
You take a brief respite from this conversation to just take in your surroundings, ensure that you're safe. There is a lot of fear about, especially of those around you. You take a quick glance around. As you observe, doesn't appear to be anything haunting you. And as you check your journal, check the figures around you, there are no added names and there are no added persons.
Nice. It seems that we are safe for the moment from these memory intruders.
That is something to be grateful for.
I will also say now is a good time to take our break.
Yes.
Oh shit, yeah.
And given our proximity to Hendrix, I'll say you are close enough for you to reach 6th level. So you can go ahead and level up those various abilities either during the break or after it.
I gotta look at my
But we'll go ahead and we'll go ahead and return at the end of this current watch. But yeah, see you all back here at, let's say, 10:35.
10:35.
All right.
Go!
See you guys in a bit.
Hey.
We're going on break
right.
for about 10 minutes, so we will be back soon.
Don't worry about this die. It's fine.